The Pigtronix Gloamer is all about attack, sustain, and decay. Let's check it out. So before we get started, I want to let you know that Pigtronix contacted me and said, "Hey Bill, can we send you a demo unit of the Gloamer for free?" And of course I said, "Heck yeah, just wanted to make sure you knew." Pigtronix calls the Gloamer a polyphonic amplitude synthesizer. Well, I call it an auto swell effect with some spicy additions. So let's get right into it. This is my dry tone. It's actually not my dry tone, it's my clean tone without the Gloamer, and I've put a little reverb on the end. Because auto swell without any effects after it is super boring. All right, let's go ahead and set the Gloamer up for a standard auto swell type of effect. So I'm going to go ahead and engage the device. And by the way, it's very simple. There's an input, an output, and there's a sidechain jack if you want to have another signal, like another instrument, trigger the device. It's kind of cool. Any old who. We've got a couple of knobs up at the top that are going to allow us to set up for auto swell. One is volume, and that is simply the overall volume of the affected tone. So right now, here's my affected tone. It's very much like my dry tone. And if I bring that volume all the way down, nothing, right? And this is great because this allows you to level match the Gloamer with your dry or your unglomered tone, right? You can kind of make sure everything's leveled out. All right, next up is a blend. We'll talk about that later, but that allows you to mix your wet and dry signal together. We also have this mysterious knob that I'll save for a moment later. And then we have the sensitivity knob. And this will allow us to determine how hard we have to pick to trigger the effect. Right now, with the sensitivity all the way down, I really can't even trigger the Gloamer. If I bring it up a little bit, I can trigger it. I'm going to bring it all the way up so it will trigger the most easily. You'll see that little blue light go out. Now you're thinking, Bill, where's the auto swell, right? All right, we're going to bring some in right now with the attack knob. Right now it's at the shortest amount. Let me go ahead and bring it up to about 9 o'clock. That's your classic slow gear auto swell kind of thing. And it sounds great with delay in addition to reverb, which I have a delay pedal on the floor. Now, you're saying, "Hey Bill, I just heard some pick attacks." And you did. And that's because the Gloamer works like every other auto swell pedal in the sense that if you pick in the middle of the swell, it will not necessarily re-trigger the effect and restart the swell. So you'll get the pick attack in the middle. That's not always a bad thing because you may want to combine the auto swell with picked notes. So the way you control this is by either muting strings with your right hand or just simply using pressure on your left hand, your fretting hand, to stop the strings before you pick the next note or the next chord. Right, and then, so I'm going to go ahead and play that again. I'm going to swell in this kind of A thing, and then I'm going to play that C note in the middle of the swell. Now I'm going to play a C chord after stopping everything. C add 9. Now G add 9. Now E minor. Yeah, and I can bring in then picked notes to combine with the swells. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's actually pretty cool. All right, we've got the basic auto swell thing going on, and now I want to spice it up a little bit, and I'm going to use the spice knob. No, wait, that's not the spice knob. It's a built-in compressor knob. There's built-in compression in this pedal, which I really like. And the way it works is that as the wet sound comes in, so the auto swelled tone, the compressor will kick in to give you more sustain in your auto swell. So let's try that out. I'm going to bring the compressor up to about halfway. I'm going to pull the volume down a bit because as you bring up the compression, the volume of the effect does go up. So again, this volume balance knob kind of allows you to make sure you keep your levels matched. All right, so let's go ahead and try that. I'll turn off the delay for a moment. Here we go. That swell was a lot longer than this swell. Ah, yes. So you can definitely add a lot of drama into your swells by adding some compression. Yeah, and if you play in the middle of the swell, you can hear that compressor kicking in. You hear the compressor clamping down on my picked notes? Yeah, it's cool. Let me add that delay back in because auto swells are always better with delay. Isn't that nice? Now, the characteristic, once you start bringing in compression, I will say the feel of being able to control the swell and the picked notes is a little different than it is with no compression. So again, a little bit of practice just to get a feel for it. I really wanted a swell there, but I didn't stop the note soon enough. So a little bit of practice, but you can get some really cool effects by switching back and forth between the picked notes and the swelled notes. All right, we're not done with the spiciness next because we need to talk about that blend knob a little bit more. Let me go ahead and turn the blend knob all the way counterclockwise. Oops, let me turn off the delay too. Let me turn the effect all the way off. You can hear that it basically is the unaffected, the unglomered signal. Now, if I begin to bring up the blend a little bit, what I'm going to be doing is blending in the auto swell with the picked note. Can you hear that? You can hear that compression, right? By the way, I don't have any other compressor on the signal. The Gloamer's the only compression. Oh yeah, let me turn that off. Yeah, and let me bring the swell up a little bit so the mix. Yeah, that's nice. Now, if I make the attack longer, I can actually extend the time before the compressed signal swells in underneath my dry signal. Nice. Let me make that shorter again so you can hear the difference. Hear how that compressed signal came in really quickly? And this is really great, just again, with a delay or your full signal chain, just playing these really great compressed lines that still have your pick attack. Isn't that beautiful? I really like that a lot. I can still get that pick attack, but there's this squishy, gooey compressor thing going on underneath that you can really play with. It's very cool. You might be thinking, hey, that's all the extra spice there must be to this pedal, but you would be wrong, because there's another button. It's the decay button, and it engages the decay knob. So let's check that out. Basically, what's going to happen here is that you can control the decay of the swelled in note, and then as it decays out, the Gloamer will automatically re-trigger the envelope. So yeah, this is kind of cool. I'm going to give you a really extreme example of how that works. So I've got the decay set to the shortest setting, and the attack is also the shortest setting. Here's what that sounds like. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's not too usable for me, so let's bring the decay up just a bit. Let's bring it up a little bit further. Yeah, so let's add a little delay. You get the drift. Now, let's make it a little smoother. So I'm going to slow down what I'll call the oscillation, or the re-triggering rate. I'm also going to set my delay tap tempo in a moment to this tempo. Okay, now we're going to bring up the attack a little bit. Oh yeah. Okay, let's add a little delay in there. Yeah, you know, that's cool. It's kind of a tremolo effect, but I want more attack. I actually want to blend in my dry tone some with the Gloamer. So let's set that up and see what we get. Okay. Delay. So with the Gloamer, what started out as a simple auto swell pedal turned into actually a pretty versatile set of sounds and textures that you can create. So again, a couple of things just to be aware of. One is that balance, as I mentioned, between picking and swelling in. It'll take a little getting used to, but once you have that down, it's pretty cool. And the second thing I'd like to mention about the Gloamer is that I have found it to be very sensitive to where it's placed in your signal chain. Right now, I've got this set up after my distortion pedal and after my amp modeler, and then I've got the Gloamer. So if I'm going to have any distortion or whatever, it's going to come before the Gloamer. So far, that seems to be where I prefer it, but I've also tried it as the very first effect after the guitar, right? So I plug guitar directly into the Gloamer and then into the rest of the signal path. So I think, if you get this pedal, you're going to want to play around with where you place it in the signal chain to get the best dynamics and the best sound for your particular setup. So what do you think of the Gloamer? Drop a comment, let me know. And then also, here's a playlist of other Pigtronix demos I've done here on the channel. I'll see you over on those videos.